will make a lot of money if you're successful. But there's this thing that people have where they see a guy like Floyd Mayweather and they say, well, hey, boxers make millions of dollars. Look, Floyd Mayweather made hundreds of millions of dollars. No. But guarantee you, he ain't making very good money.
That was kind of bothersome. My only question to him would be, where's your soul? It is true.
In a shocking development, two of the most influential voices in sports and media, podcaster Joe Rogan and commentator Stephen A. Smith, have leveled serious accusations against Floyd Mayweather Jr., alleging that the undefeated boxing legend masterminded a sprawling $42 million fraud scheme. The accusations claim that Mayweather manipulated public perception of his wealth and concealed assets in offshore entities. According to Rogan, an extensive financial analysis uncovered that Mayweather funneled millions through shell companies set up in the Caribbean and the British Virgin Islands, structures designed to siphon fight purses, endorsement fees, and licensing revenues away from legitimate stakeholders and tax authorities. Smith has backed these claims, referencing purportedly unsealed court documents that name Mayweather as the architect behind transactions designed to misrepresent the true source and destination of funds, defrauding promoters, investors, and even members of his inner circle. Rogan's investigation points to a trove of bank records and corporate filings showing that over the past decade, Mayweather diverted nearly $500 million through a web of trust and limited liability companies registered in jurisdictions known for their lack of disclosure requirements. These entities allegedly facilitated the purchase of luxury real estate in Miami and Beverly Hills under assumed names, obscuring actual ownership and allowing the transfer of fight proceeds without triggering financial reporting thresholds. Rogan further claims that private equity firms, which had pledged minimum guarantees for Mayweather's highly publicized $100 million headlining fights, later discovered upon audit that far less money made it to the theaters and pay-per-view distributors, with the balance quietly routed to offshore accounts.
Nothing after not reading the SEC settlement. So maybe that's why he tells us we can't lose by betting on it. So let's put that to the test with his last 3 NFT projects.
I'm dropping my NFT tonight. FloydNFT.com, August 10th. Go get it right now. Matter of fact, don't even wait till August 10th. Get it now. My NFT. Own a piece of my legacy. Floyd Money Mayweather. I'm not just in 30% or 40%, full 100%. I'm all the way in.
Now, Floyd's World was indeed a huge success for Floyd Mayweather, who raked in $4.9 million. But what happened to his fans? Well, they're furious because the price of this NFT has collapsed over 90%, and they angrily responded in the comments section, "You already have an NFT project. It's called @RealFloydNFT.
Rogan's investigation highlights exchanges between Mayweather and high-ranking executives at major pay-per-view platforms, where the boxer allegedly instructed his advisors to underreport official gate figures by as much as 30%. This was done even as he publicly boasted of gate receipts surpassing $20 million per night. According to Smith, these underreported sums allowed Mayweather to minimize his taxable income and avoid revenue-sharing obligations to promoters like Golden Boy and Showtime. Furthermore, Smith contends that Mayweather leveraged his reputation for financial invincibility to insert sovereign immunity clauses into his fight contracts, a legal maneuver designed to protect certain assets from creditors and lawsuits, even in cases where he faced breach of contract or unpaid fee allegations from former sparring partners and choreographers. While neither Rogan nor Smith have provided direct excerpts from the court documents, both claim to have received them from insiders within federal investigative agencies. Together, they argue that Mayweather's financial empire, branded as the Money Team, is less built on legitimate prize purses and endorsements and more on a meticulously constructed house of cards, one that begins to collapse under forensic scrutiny. Both conclude that the true extent of the alleged fraud goes far beyond a $42 million figure, with an additional $150 million in suspicious cash flows still being reviewed by U.S. authorities.
Ever. All right. Now, Floyd Mayweather Jr., there's a story circulating that Business Insider did talking about this $400 million property deal that he had been discussing here in New York City. But now, according to Business Insider, it's not what you think it is. They said there's no evidence there's been a sale of these properties, and it's 62 rental apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan. Here is what Floyd Mayweather had said at the time on a video that he posted on his Instagram.
I love bringing the people into my lifestyle, showing the people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on a regular talking about real estate. Well, lately I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me. Guess what? You can do the same.
All right. Well, now we're trying to figure out what happened, right, with Business Insider. So according to another update, he did ink a $402 million deal for a Black Spruce portfolio. When he said that it was all his and no one invested, he meant no one was funding his part of the investment but him. And so I think this is something where maybe he owns a piece of this or shares in it, but it hasn't changed hands because the majority owner is still the same owner that it was before. I'm trying to understand what happened with this, but I know there's a story that's circulating, so just putting it out there. Whew, it's a tough one. I'm trying to understand as a real estate person myself what exactly he is communicating when he's saying that he owns this, because they're trying to make it seem like he doesn't, but what it seems like is that he owns shares of these buildings.
In contrast to the claims made by Joe Rogan and Stephen A. Smith, the only verifiable case involving Floyd Mayweather's post-boxing ventures is his settlement with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission SEC in November 2018 over his promotion of Centratech's initial coin offering ICO. The SEC found that Mayweather failed to disclose a $100,000 payment from Centra and additional sums from two other ICOs. As a result, Mayweather was fined $614,775 and banned from promoting securities for 3 years. This case, while significant, is a disclosure violation and does not support the expansive fraud conspiracy involving shell companies and fight revenue misappropriations that Rogan and Smith allege. Beyond the SEC settlement, Centratech's co-founders were indicted by federal prosecutors in New York in May 2018 for securities and wire fraud, after raising over $25 million through false claims of partnerships with Visa and MasterCard. While Mayweather's social media promotions helped the co-founders, he was not criminally charged. Instead, he agreed to pay fines and cease promotions for 3 years. This outcome highlights the difference between a civil enforcement action, like the SEC case, and the criminal conspiracy Rogan and Smith suggest. Rogan has also questioned the accuracy of Mayweather's publicly stated net worth, which Forbes has repeatedly valued at around $400 million. Based on bank statements Rogan reviewed, Mayweather's liquid assets never came close to this figure. Instead, the majority of his wealth was tied up in trust accounts, which are inaccessible to creditors and come with internal penalties if withdrawn prematurely. Rogan argues that these trusts are controlled by a network of lawyers and accountants who answer only to Mayweather's inner circle, making his wealth seem overhyped and effectively untouchable by tax authorities or creditors. Stephen A. Smith has described Floyd Mayweather's financial reporting as creative accounting at its worst, comparing it to the techniques used by Enron executives, who manipulated energy markets by creating opaque entities and off-balance sheet liabilities. Smith points out that many of Mayweather's lucrative endorsement deals, valued in the tens of millions, are recorded as fee-for-service arrangements with no clear end client. This raises suspicions that these deals were simply conduits for transferring funds, rather than legitimate marketing partnerships. These allegations naturally lead to questions about why criminal charges have not been filed against Mayweather, given the scale of the $42 million fraud Rogan and Smith claim. The two offer two possible explanations. First, they suggest that Mayweather's team may have successfully lobbied prosecutors for immunity in exchange for cooperation on unrelated matters. Second, they argue that the complexity of unraveling Mayweather's decades-old international transactions has stalled investigations, despite what they believe to be clear evidence of wrongdoing. They assert that a high-level source within the U.S. Department of Justice confirmed that an indictment was prepared last summer, but was delayed due to political considerations surrounding Mayweather's celebrity status. Critics of Rogan and Smith, however, argue that neither has the legal expertise to analyze complex financial records, and that podcast commentary and TV segments are not admissible evidence in court. Furthermore, no judge has yet validated the existence of the $42 million fraud scheme. Nonetheless, Rogan maintains that the involvement of multiple forensic accountants and whistleblowers adds credibility to his claims. While Stephen A. Smith continues to insist on the authenticity of the leaked court documents he's seen, the only publicly documented case of Mayweather's financial misconduct remains a settlement with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission SEC in 2018, which stemmed from his failure to disclose payments he received for promoting cryptocurrency offerings. He was also indirectly connected to the Centra Tech fraud, which was prosecuted in federal court. While this matter is noteworthy, it pales in comparison to the sprawling fraud conspiracy that Rogan and Smith allege. If their claims are accurate, it could dramatically reshape the narrative of Mayweather's career, transforming him from an unmatched boxer to the architect of one of the largest celebrity scams in history. Rogan and Smith have undoubtedly brought attention to the need for greater transparency in how high-profile athletes manage large sums of money. The challenge now lies in whether independent investigators or official agencies can pierce the veil of corporate secrecy and determine whether Mayweather truly is the mastermind behind a massive fraud, or if he is a victim of a coordinated campaign of rumors, innuendo, and sensationalism in recent years. A range of boxing insiders and celebrities, such as Gervonta Davis, Boxing Hall of Famer Rick Glazer, rapper 50 Cent, MMA superstar Conor McGregor, and internet personality Logan Paul, have pointed to Mayweather's financial vulnerabilities. These revelations have included alleged unpaid debts in Dubai, multi-million-dollar promissory notes, IRS tax liens, and failed gambling wagers. These accounts paint a stark contrast to Mayweather's ostentatious public image and highlight the complexities of managing nine-figure earnings across various global jurisdictions. Gervonta Davis, once a protege of Mayweather, claimed on Instagram that Mayweather was effectively trapped in Dubai due to a failure to repay borrowed money and deliver promised services. He accused Mayweather of taking people's money without fulfilling obligations. Davis later doubled down on these allegations via social media, challenging Mayweather to go live and dispute the claims, insisting that Mayweather owed people money. Boxing Hall of Famer Rick Glazer further substantiated these rumors, tweeting that his contact in Dubai confirmed that Mayweather was being held by the government there due to substantial debts, emphasizing that authorities in Dubai take financial obligations very seriously. Conor McGregor used a major press conference in July 2017 to poke fun at Mayweather's tax burdens, noting that much of Mayweather's nine-figure paycheck from their fight would likely be earmarked to settle an eight-figure debt to the IRS. This comment referred to a federal tax lien filed in April 2017, which revealed that Mayweather still owed $22.2 million in unpaid taxes from 2015. He had unsuccessfully petitioned the IRS to pay this amount in installments until after his payday from the McGregor fight. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson has also been outspoken about his business dealings with Mayweather, which date back to 2012 when he fronted $2 million to help launch Mayweather's TMT, the Money Team, promotions company. Jackson claims that Mayweather never repaid him. More recently, 50 Cent has supported Gervonta Davis's allegations about Mayweather's debts in Dubai, commenting on Instagram, "I got some money if he needs it," remark that was both supportive and implied Mayweather's financial struggles were real. In early 2024, YouTuber turned boxer Logan Paul announced his intention to sue Mayweather for approximately $5 million still owed from their June 2021 exhibition bout. Showtime later clarified that it paid Mayweather Promotions in full, suggesting that any shortfall lay with Mayweather's company itself. Federal court documents dating back to 2001 show that Mayweather faced multiple IRS liens totaling over $26 million across several tax years. In his legal filings, Mayweather argued that while he was not cash rich, much of his wealth was tied up in fight purses and endorsements and a rare glimpse into his gambling habits. Mayweather admitted that he attempted to place a $400,000 bet on himself before his 2017 fight with McGregor, but the sportsbook denied the wager due to regulatory concerns. This incident highlighted both his penchant for high-stakes gambling and the complications that can arise when athletes try to bet on their own matches. Despite his financial woes, Mayweather's extravagant lifestyle continues to be on display. In February 2024, he attended the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, where he filmed a visit to a bank with his entourage, hauling bags of cash. Just getting ready for Super Bowl weekend in Las Vegas. We had to get the ones, make it rain. Check it out. he says on camera, gesturing to his crew, carrying large piles of cash. In another video shared by All Urban Central, he showcased a portion of his watch collection, valued at an estimated $100 million, and explained that he often travels with a high-end watch every day. The undefeated legend also revealed that he reserved a luxurious suite at Allegiant Stadium for the Super Bowl, which cost a staggering $1.13 million. On Instagram, Mayweather wrote, "I don't kiss and I never have begged for nothing, especially not to get a Super Bowl suite. I don't mind accepting invites at times, but one thing for sure, the person that's paying does all the same." Mayweather, ever the showman, continued his lavish lifestyle at the 2024 Super Bowl, insisting that he prefers to handle his own accommodations. "Therefore, I get my own seats and suites, so I can do what I want and invite who I want. I'm blessed to be taking 34 people to experience the first Super Bowl in Las Vegas," he stated. The cost of his luxurious suite was $1,131,000. Despite the extravagance, Mayweather was still dealing with significant financial obligations. In 2023, he participated in exhibition bouts against John Gotti III and Aaron Comers, though these were a far cry from his peak fighting days. Just before his Super Bowl splurge, he owed $18 million in taxes. Mayweather shared on Instagram, "Just before I paid that light million and change of that little Super Bowl stuff, I had to pay the IRS, aka Uncle Sam, $18,047,181. Mayweather's finances, though often extravagant, are not without their challenges. He is accustomed to wagering large sums, particularly given his residence in Las Vegas. For example, he placed a $95,000 bet on the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, and their victory in overtime netted him $23,000. He also wagered $10,000 on the Philadelphia Eagles, though that bet didn't pay off. Despite these high stakes, Mayweather has faced scrutiny over his tax filings. Reports indicated that he chose not to contest an IRS assessment of $5.5 million in back taxes and a $1.1 million accuracy-related penalty for the 2017 tax year. While $6.7 million may seem like a fortune to most, for Mayweather, it was a relatively minor amount compared to his vast wealth. The IRS audit of Mayweather's 2017 tax return concluded with a statutory notice of deficiency, SOD, issued on February 2, 2022, with a May 3, 2022 deadline for filing petition. The notice revealed that $14 million in legal expenses had been disallowed, resulting in the tax deficiency. However, much of the information leading to the $5.5 million increase in tax liability remains redacted, leaving many questions unanswered about Mayweather's taxable income before the increase or the original tax amount.
People executing these scams are like anon people hiding behind a Pepe avatar. And of course, there's a laundry list of famous influencers, Logan Paul, Kim Kardashian's David Dobrik, that have all endorsed these absolute shitcoin scam casino rugs that leaves their investors high and dry because they paid them a bunch of money up front and maybe they didn't know any better because it's such a nascent space. But I am just flabbergasted that the highest paid boxer, one of the most famous people on the planet, Floyd Mayweather, has managed to become a repeat offender as a scam artist. Now, everybody knows Floyd's an opportunist. He's an entrepreneur. He likes to make money. He always has money, talks about money. That's his shtick. That's his persona. That's fine. You can make money. You can be a hustler. You can get paid a bunch to box, do whatever you want.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. Smash that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.